recording. I'm just letting you know that I am recording for the purpose of my grad class. Sorry, I did not start recording earlier, but now you're all being recorded, just to let you know. We will also, you're going to get to actually go through a NearPod that I've created for you from a student's perspective, and then we will also discuss potential uses outside of the classroom. So NearPod is great because I don't like classes that look like the one on the left. If any of you guys have been in class or have students of your own, you don't want your kids to look like that. For your own sake, for your job's sake, and for your students' sake, you don't want them to look like that. With NearPod, your students look more like the picture on the right. You get to look more like the right because of a certain few aspects of NearPod. In NearPod, all the students interact with every question you ask. All the content that you give is specific for your students, and every student has it in their hand. And the activities are all engaging, and every kid has to interact. There's also different types of pacing, meaning that the teacher can either push the content along so that the students stay on track, or you can give a lesson to students for them to be able to push themselves through it. There's also a very great active monitoring piece. So when you're teaching students, sometimes you don't know if they've got it, or they say they've got it and they don't actually do it. They don't actually know what you're talking about. They're just giving you the So NearPod, you can actually see what they're doing. They have to submit every time, and you guys are going to see this in just a minute when we do one. And it's great for error analysis. I can show a really bad response, or I can show a really great response, and the kids can learn from each other. I can share and record the results, so there's a data aspect of the NearPod. I can save it afterwards. I can send it off to my administration. No big deal. There's a variety of activities. You're going to love it. Welcome, Joni. Hi there. You can also create your own presentations. You can use the free ones that are provided on there, or you can buy lessons that are pre-made from either other teachers or companies that lease out their services. So I want to dive right into it because this is all very abstract if you don't see it, and I learn best by doing. So in your Google Doc, you're going to have a link to the NearPod homepage down at the bottom. You can always just Google NearPod, and the first one that comes up is NearPod. And you're going to enter in the code. The code that's on the screen is EXZUL. And it's also pasted in the Google Doc if you missed that. And I'm also doing it as well, so I'm going to be kind of pacing myself with you guys. And you should be getting to a screen that says, welcome, with a picture of my classroom on it. I'll give you guys a few minutes to get there and to type in your names. And this is looking at it from a learner perspective. I'm going to pause the sharing of the directions, and I'm actually going to put up what I'm seeing from the teacher side so that you guys can see both aspects of this website. Is everybody to the point of putting in the code?
Almost.
Almost? Thank you, Susan. And it'll ask for your nickname. I always ask my students to put something appropriate, but, you know, you're adults. Oh, thanks. Sorry, Joni. There you go.
I'm in.
Lovely.
Hey, I've been in that classroom.
So you guys can see, by the way, everybody, RZ94 is my dad. He's here for moral support, and I hope that you guys are totally okay with a person who's not in our class being here and learning all about NearPod along with us. So thanks, Dad.
No problem. Trying to make up for all my class clownisms in school.
You're doing great. All right, so it looks like all of us are in except for Joni, but Joni, don't worry. You can get in at any time. You can still type in the code. You won't miss anything, and I'm sharing on my side. So this is teacher paced. So I'm going to be forwarding what I push out to you. All students get the same thing at the same time. What's really cool is that you can do simple text slides. So just like your basic PowerPoint, I can have a title, I can have a picture, I can add in videos, which you'll see here. And this is just a little plug, a reminder that if you have questions, I do have the chat box open. It would be great if you push those there. So from a teacher's perspective, or even a boss's perspective, or a trainer's perspective, I can import pictures, I can put PDFs in here. And students can interact with these if I made them. You're going to see that a little later. But in the very basic level, kids can see what I want them to see, and they all have it in front of them. It's not just me standing up on the screen by myself. The second thing you can do is I can actually push out a picture to you, or a video to you. And it asked me, as you could see on my screen, it asked me if I wanted to play it on just my screen or play it all on your screen. The video is a stop motion animation video that my students actually made with an app called Stickbots. So I can embed all different kinds of content into this presentation tool, and it's pretty high powered, and all my students can have it at the same time. There's none of this squinting, can I see it? They're all engaged right at the same time. Now, if I want a little bit more interaction from my students, like I kind of want from you guys right now, you can have a poll, and this is a poll, and it says if you had this on your personal computer, so if you had NearPod in front of you, like for a training or a PD, or if you were the teacher, would you be more likely to pay attention so far, just based on polls and slides? And give me your honest feedback. Yes, nah, maybe I need to see more before I can decide. Just give me a quick answer. Don't worry, you're not going to hurt my feelings. And you just click send to give me your response. And as you can see, because I'm sharing my screen, I think you can see that I'm getting the active results right now. I'm getting the results from my students. I'm seeing who's answering, and I can say, hey, Susan, I may or may not see your answer, or I do see that you have answered. And then I can push it out to every student. And you can quickly see the data. You're still seeing the activity direction screen. You should be seeing my NearPod screen. Is anybody else not seeing my NearPod teacher screen? What are you seeing right now? Are you still seeing the PowerPoint presentation? Okay, my apologies. Let me, okay. Did that make a difference? Okay, now you can see what I see on my side, hopefully. My apologies, I'm sorry. Perfect. Okay, so you can see the data from my side that I see as a teacher. I see names, but on your side, you should see a pie chart of the data from the students. Very, very powerful for students to be seeing instantaneous feedback. I mean, this is a poll, and then I can unshare it and move you along. Now, what if I have your visual learners, or if I'm a social studies teacher, or maybe I am a math teacher and I want them to actually write on something? Please use the pen tool to actually circle your home state. I just uploaded this picture of this outline of the United States. Sorry if you're Alaska or Hawaii, it did get cut off. But go ahead and circle your home state, and I'll be able to see when you have submitted your drawings, and I will be able to share it with the rest of the class. I can watch and see who is submitting, and I usually with my kids give them a countdown. I say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everybody needs to have their drawings in. It's a lot easier on mobile devices because it's touchscreen, but on tablets and things, I mean, the kids have gotten really good with the touch pads. I know it's pretty hard. So I'm just waiting on a few friends to submit, mainly Dad and myself.
I got disconnected there, and I don't know what happened, so.
Okay, you're able to refresh, and you can go back onto the NearPod website and enter in that code, and it'll let you enter, I believe, where we ended off.
use the pen. I'm looking at use the pen tool to circle your home state.
Yes, sir. So there's a pen tool down below. It's like a little blue button, and you actually just take your click and drag your mouse and circle your home state. Now, if it was taking too long for a student, I would go ahead and meet with them personally, but I'm going to go ahead and share some of my results that students had. So you can see that my friend Joni circled her home state and put a nice star on there. If anybody did anything inappropriate, I would use it as a learning time to say, I wouldn't share yours. So again, you can write on this screen. Dad, maybe you can catch up on this one. You're actually going to be able to draw on it. But what's really cool is that you can embed an image in there. So I actually put the conversion chart. You don't need it for this math question, but you can enlarge it. The kids can have a reference tool. They can reference a table. They can reference a chart. You can put a helpful anchor chart on there, and they can still write on their on the screen. So go ahead and draw a less than, greater than, or equal to sign in the center. It's okay. I'm not grading this. It's totally okay if it's not right.
I have no pen tool.
If you have a blue drop-down arrow, you can always move the question up. Sometimes it makes your screen extend a little longer. If not, if you were a student that was still having these kind of difficulties, I would be meeting with you individually to show you where your pen tool is. But I'm going to go ahead and share one answer and say, wow, this student, knew exactly what they were doing and had great control of the pen tool. You kind of get the idea of the pen tool. Now, if you want more open-ended responses, you can do something like this. So I wanted an open-ended response from my kids, and I do this in ELA all the time, and I say, here you go. Let's give this picture a caption. Let's, or respond to this picture, or respond to this text. This is just a picture of my nephew, and he's pretty much the coolest kid I've ever met in my entire life. So there are a lot of captions that could go with this, but you see how this can lead into deeper thinking for your students. And I'll give everybody a few more minutes to type in your responses. And please do remember that you have to click send in order for me to see it. You do have to confirm and click send. And you guys can see from my side, I see what everybody is responding. It's really powerful when you can see that every one of your kids is engaging, even if they're not kids. If you were teaching adult learners, it'd be really interesting to see who was actually answering your questions and who was not. Pops, were you able to type in?
Jacqueline, I can't type in. I have no pen tool. I have no send button. I have no anything.
Are you using mobile or are you using platform?
I am on my laptop with the big giant screen.
Interesting. I'm going to have to troubleshoot that with you, but I'm going to move on to the next tool, and at least you're getting to see the tools. You can see it from the adult or my side, and you might not be able to answer. But you guys can now share, and I'll show you some of the cool responses. All right. This one I use a lot, and there's a lot of features on this one. I'm going to kind of blow through this one. It's more like a Padlet. I use this as a back channel when my kids are watching videos, and they always want to say like, oh, that's really cool, or I have a question about those snakes. They put it on here instead of saying it out loud. You can type into this box. You can add a picture into this box. It says it might be the differences. Anyway, so you can respond to my question or not. You can just see how this works. You're just responding, and it's putting up, somebody put in a picture. So somebody knows. Alyssa, you must be familiar with Padlet, because that shows me that you know. And you can like it, and my kids freak out when somebody else likes their picture. It's instantaneous feedback to the kids from each other as well as from me. That's really important and powerful for learners that they're hearing it. Awesome. What's great about my feature is that I can also delete if it's inappropriate for kids. I can go ahead and delete their responses. Lovely. And it instantly pops up. It refreshes, even with 28 of my kids. It keeps up very well. It's almost as powerful as a Padlet, all in this presentation. Love it. And they can even post more than once. They can post 3 or 4 times. It's awesome. We're going to move on with the next tool. If you really want some data, you want some hardcore, I want to ask questions. Did they get what I was talking about? Are they getting it? You can ask multiple choice, open-ended, multi-select questions in a quiz format. So go ahead and take the quiz. It's just 2 questions, not for a grade, not anything serious. But I can actively see which students are answering and which students are not. And I get an active grade report. So if you can see on my screen, I can watch and say, I can even walk to those students who are, having trouble, or who maybe need me to read the question to them. That's great for our ESE learners. And I can see immediately that some friends are getting both the questions right. Some friends, have not answered, and that was actually me.
And I don't see any way of answering any questions because I see no questions.
So you're closing out, you're getting into the actual Padlet window? You've opened up a new window for NearPod?
Me?
Yes.
Jackie, I see the big thing that says, don't worry, this isn't for a grade.
Okay.
I saw the student list.
So you didn't actually open up a window and type in a new code?
Yeah, I did, but.
So you're probably typing onto my shared screen. That's okay. If you could just hold back, I'll meet with you after on the tool.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just don't want to mess your presentation.
Thanks, Dad. It's okay. No worries. I love having actual trouble because I get to kind of work with it. But I can share the results of what you got. So I've shared your results with you. You can see if you got 2 correct, if you got 1 correct, if you got any of them. And this gives kids, again, instantaneous feedback, and I can save the data in a presentation form or in a spreadsheet form. When you get to the end, you can save it. All right. That was a brief mention of a lot of the tools. So now I'm going to give you guys a chance just to kind of reflect, to kind of talk with me, talk with others. I'm going to switch back to my presentation, and hopefully you'll see it. Let me know if you do. You should see my black slides. It's okay if you want to unmute your mic. Yes, okay. You're welcome to chat at this point. I was going to have you guys break out into breakout sessions and see if there was any time when you think you could use this, or if there were any potential uses, to see it from the instructor side. And there is a link on there for you to look at it, but because I'm kind of going over time, I would like to skip that, but it's in the Google Doc for you guys to get to if you want. It's on NearPod Explore Lessons. So if you ever do want to make your own or see the pre-made ones that are there, you can click on that. But at least you've seen the potential that it has, the features that you would be able to use in your own presentations. But I'd like to open up the floor for anyone else. If you'd like, if you have questions, comments, concerns. Is there anybody who's not a teacher that sees that they can use it? Michelle. If you could unmute your mic.
Yeah, I'm not a teacher, so I'm just kind of trying to think of some other applications, because it seems pretty robust, like you could do a lot with it. I'm just wondering about tailoring it up educationally, where, like college level.
Right. Is anybody else who's not a teacher want to respond to that? Because I am a teacher, but when I was shown this, I was in a technology cadre meeting, so it was actually adults teaching us, and they were intending for us to use it with kids, but I thought it was a great way to teach us the tool, I was engaged with it. We were drawing, and it was actually very fun for us to use.
So how did they, what was their approach with you, with an adult?
They were teaching us about other technology strategies using NearPod.
Okay.
So they were trying to teach us the tool and teach us some content to bring back to our schools
Okay.
using that tool.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Jackie, I could see this in like a professional setting when you're teaching new skills, to kind of go in, do a quick quick poll, or, a check on see, do people understand things? And, because you've got a little bit of, can you set it to be more anonymous so that you can quickly see?
Oh, yeah, it can be completely anonymous. You saw my side of the screen, but if you were a student in a learning capacity, you would just see your screen. I never have it displayed for students. I actually don't put it up there. I don't like, they like knowing their own responses and things like that.
Yeah. So I think something like that could be useful if you're teaching new like computer skills,
yes,
or something similar. So just get that instant feedback of, hey, if you were going to do this, would you do X, Y, or Z? And if it's supposed to be Z and people are choosing X, you can go back, where you need to go back to.
Exactly. And they get immediate feedback, and you can also save that feedback. So I will actually download a report of everything that you guys answered, and I'll be able to see who answered what was the response of the polls, what was your open-ended response. I'll basically get a spreadsheet of all of the responses, all the ways that you interacted with the NearPod.
Jackie, I could see that the instructor-led training that I've attended over the years, and my business, this would be, I think, much more engaging than what I've been exposed to so far.
I'm glad to hear that from you as an adult, because I was worried that maybe it was a little bit too kid friendly, and I liked it just because it was kind of like a game. It was fun, but I'm glad that you actually see that maybe you would like to learn that way.
It would keep me, me, I get bored very easily in the classroom. This would definitely keep my attention.
Great. Anybody else have anything to share? Thoughts? Nope. All right. Well, I counted my elephants, and my Google Doc is up there if you want to explore on it. I'm happy to answer any email questions. I'm obviously, you guys are in the class, so I will answer through Canvas. But the resources are all there. You can click on the links. If you need any help with it, I'd love to show you them. I can even send you NearPods that I've done with my students. If you are a teacher, if not, I can definitely help you with just the creation side. But thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Thanks, Dad.
Welcome, Jack.
Dad, yay. Okay, now everybody's gone. Wait. Okay.
All right.
Hold on. I have to stop recording real quick.